honey glazed, bacon wrapped pork tenderloin will be my last cook ever on this Weber Smokey Mountain. Let's go. All right, so what I've got here are a couple of pork tenderloins and some bacon, and I've got some Cosmo Q's honey killer bee rub that I'm going to put on these. So let's go ahead and start with one right here. I'm just going to sprinkle that on there. I'll place it on this bacon that I've already got laid out here, and then start to wrap it. There's the first one. I'm going to go ahead and get the second one set up, and I'll come right back to you. Check it out. Man, that's going to be some good stuff, I'll tell you right now. I'm going to go ahead and coat the outside of the bacon as well. Might as well, just a little bit more flavor. How about we leave that right there and go get the grill set up. Alright, you can see I've got the Weber kettle charcoal basket filled up with charcoal, and I got a couple of lighter cubes here and an upside down chimney, so I'm going to put those in there, light them. Alright, now I'm going to put a few pieces of charcoal on top to get lit. So once this is going and the charcoals are lit, I'm going to pour it into the basket and then let that get going, get the temp up in the cooker, and then we'll come out here with the pork loins. What you say? I'm going to go ahead and move this thing to the kettle so that it's not just sitting out in the open. Drink of choice today, always A&W Diet Cream Soda. Come on. I think it's been long enough. Go ahead and assemble. This thing's pretty dirty. Sits in my wood shop, so it gets all kinds of wood dust all over when I'm making stuff. And just so you know, I'm planning on cooking around 325 or so it's not going to be low and slow or anything like that. I want to make sure the bacon's going to be kind of crispy as much as I can. I'm not sure how crispy I'll get it, but I figure a higher cook would be better for the bacon, and I'm not one to go forever anyway. It probably would have been easier just to go ahead and cook it in the Weber kettle, but being that I'm getting rid of this Weber Smokey Mountain pretty soon, I wanted to do one more cook in it for old time's sake. Me and this guy have been around for almost a decade. What you think, buddy? And I'm planning on using apple wood for the smoke. Okay, so while the smoker's getting heated up, I figured I'd come into the kitchen and start on the honey glaze, brown sugar, butter, lemon juice, honey, cornstarch, paprika, and some Grey Poupon. I'm gonna kind of whisk all this together. Now I'm gonna turn the heat on once I got the meat on, and I'll let this stuff simmer and melt everything down. And this is what I'll put on the meat right before I take it off the grill. So let's get back out and check and see what the smoker looks like. Okay, the grill's up to right over 250. Well, it's actually reading 298 on the ThermPro. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some wood and get the pork tenderloins in the smoker. That's a mixture of bacon. I don't really know what to do with it. Get the probe in there. It's one of the problems I always had with the Weber Smokey Mountain is getting the probe in without interfering with the door. Okay. You can see what it says now. It's 248 inside the grill at the grate and about 55 internal on the pork. Of course, I did have it sitting out on the counter for a little while. Alright, as you can see, I went ahead and turned this on. I've got the butter melted down. It's just wanting to start to simmer, and I'm going to let it do that for about a minute or so, and then I'll turn it back down to low so it at least stays warm until I'm ready to put it onto the pork tenderloin, which is going to be real close to the end, maybe about 15 minutes before I'm done. Kind of like when you'd put barbecue sauce on ribs or something like that. Anyway, let me come back to you in a minute, and we'll go look at the pork loin after a little while. Alright, you can see the grill is up over 300 and the internal on the pork is 73. So I've started cutting back on the vents a little bit on the bottom, just so I don't shoot too high over 325. You know, if I can keep it lower down towards 300, that's fine too. I'm not in a massive rush, just don't want to be eating way late. But it's coming along, and it's only been like 20 minutes, so it's moving kind of fast. It's another reason why I could possibly just cook it a little bit slower. I don't know, we'll see. Now this is the part of smoking meat that I like the most. Everything's done. The inside's been cleaned up a little bit. All you gotta do is just wait on the meat. You can just chill out. Love it. Okay, so I started smoking meat close to 10 years ago, and it was on this WSM, this Weber Smokey Mountain 14.5 inch. I learned everything I know smoking meat on the Weber Smokey Mountain. The longest cook I've ever done is 8 hours, and having to fiddle with the charcoal and the vents. It was pretty steady, but there does come a point where you do have to kind of mess with the vents, especially once the temperature changes during the day, or if it's cold outside, or if it gets windy, or any conditions outside change. You gotta come kind of mess with the vents. At least I've found in my experience. And you know, I just want to try something different. I got a friend who made a brisket for us recently. We were at their house, and he's got a pellet smoker, and it was awesome, and he barely messed with the grill. And I thought, I want to give that a try. So I ordered a pellet smoker. It's coming in next week. It's a Rectech Deck Boss. I'll do an unboxing and all that stuff once it comes in, but it's gonna have to go right now where the WSM and the pit barrel cooker that I have are stored. So I don't really have room to keep it along with these two. So for now, I'm gonna get rid of these two. And you know, I still got the Weber kettle. If I want to smoke something, I can do it on that. But you know, I want to give pellet smoking a try and just try that out. I've been doing this for almost a decade. I'm ready to try something different just to see what it's like. So anyway, that's why this is my last cook on this WSM. I'll be selling it here shortly for pretty cheap. You know, it's pretty beat up, and it's missing the heat shield at the bottom and everything else, so it's probably not going to go for very much. And the PVC as well. I've only ever cooked ribs on it, and I barely ever use it, so it's not really getting the use it needs, so I'm going to get rid of it. That's the story. As I was telling my story to you, I realized that I did not foil the water pan, so that's going to be quite a mess to clean up. All that grease dripping down in there. Man, I don't think I've ever forgotten to foil the water pan. This is the first time ever. Man. Internal's reading 123. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Oh yeah. In fact, this bacon in here is done. Let me go ahead and probe this one. Reading 126 on this one. That one's saying 123, so yeah, a little bit more time left. Let me go get something to get this bacon out of here with. Is this done? Let me tell you what, let me just grab it like this. Look at that. When I come back out, I may come back out when it's about 135 and put the honey glaze on the top of it, let it cook about 10-15 more minutes, and then it should be about ready, about then. Man, that stuff smells good. I tell you what. I don't know why I have never tried smoking bacon. It is so stinking good. Even the crispier parts. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you what. I've never done anything bacon wrapped. It's my first time ever. So if I can do it, you can do it. I'll be back here in a minute. All right. Went ahead and waited till closer towards final temperature to put the honey glaze on. Man, that looks insanely good. Let me take this one again. About 140. It's pretty much done. I'm gonna put some glaze on it. Finish up. Let that cook for just a few more minutes, and then we'll go ahead and get it off. Okay, these things are done. All right, I'll meet you inside. I'm telling you what, the aroma infiltrating my nostrils right now is almost more than I can bear. It smells so stinking good. Anyway, gotta let it sit for a little while, so I'm gonna give it about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and we'll come and slice into it, see what it looks like. Alright, I think it's been long enough, so let's go ahead and slice into this thing, see what it looks like. Put it over right here. What does this look like? Oh yeah, it looks really good. Looks fantastic. Look at it dripping. I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and take a bite. It's good stuff. It's real good. I can taste a little bit of the glaze on the outside. Tastes great. Really glad how it came out. If you're still watching, thanks so much for sticking to the end. I appreciate it. Thanks for checking out my video. This is good stuff. You should try it out. It's good stuff. See you in the next video. Alright? Bye.